If you hold a commercial driver's license and you've gotten a DUI, a drunk driving charge in the state of Mississippi, you're in a real serious situation, and you need to talk to a lawyer and get a lawyer to help you out. I mean, any DUI in Mississippi is a big deal. If you hold a commercial license, if you are a CDL holder, it's an extra big deal. Any kind of moving violation, you probably know if you're a commercial driver, is a serious situation. I mean, a speeding ticket, okay, any kind of moving violation, but especially drunk driving, because if you're convicted in Mississippi, then you're going to lose your CDL for 1 year. Okay, you will not be able to drive a commercial vehicle for 1 year if you get convicted. Even if you are violating the implied consent law. Implied consent is something we've all given implied consent. When we get behind the wheel of a car, give an implied consent for law enforcement to ask us to submit to a breath or chemical test to determine the presence of alcohol or other intoxicating substances in our system. All right, and it's called implied consent because we didn't do it directly. We didn't say, sure, you can take our breath or take our blood anytime you want, but it's like implied. It's like part of the bargain of getting a license, of getting a driver's license, because a driver's license is a privilege and not a right. And part of that privilege means that you have to give a breath test or a blood test if they ask you if they have probable cause to believe that you're driving under the influence. All right, I didn't mean to get off track there, but basically refusing to take the test. If you're a commercial driver and you refuse to take the test, that alone can suspend your license for 1 year, your commercial license. So either you get convicted of DUI or you get found. It's not really a conviction because it's not a criminal punishment, the implied consent, refusing to take the test. But if you refuse, that also will trigger a 1 year license suspension in Mississippi, commercial license suspension, okay? This is all focused on CDLs. So if you are a commercial driver, listen to what I've just said and think about it. You're facing probably loss of your job. You're not going to be able to drive your commercial vehicle for 1 year if you get convicted of that DUI, or if you're found to be in violation of the implied consent, refusing to take the test. And the refusal, that's actually a separate, like if you are charged with refusal, that is a separate proceeding. You can have a separate trial on that, because as I just mentioned, that's not a criminal charge. You can't go to jail for refusing. You can't be made to pay a fine or put on probation for refusing. The only penalty is losing your license. So it is strictly administrative, and they treat that separately in the courts. So you've got the DUI criminal charge, then you've got the administrative license suspension based on the refusal. So, if you have either of those or both, you need to fight them if you want a chance at keeping your license. So if you've gotten a DUI in Mississippi and you're a commercial driver, then you need to get a lawyer. All right, you need representation. You need a lawyer who knows what they're doing and knows how to how to handle the DUI and what to look for, because you need to go to trial. You're not going to get a deal. So that's the other thing. That you're not going to get a deal the way a non-commercial driver would, like most of us. Me and most people, we hold regular non-commercial licenses. I mean, if you're a first-time offender, non-commercial, non-CDL holder, you can probably work out something. I mean, if it's not too terrible, where you have a chance, basically, of keeping it off your record if you are able to strike a deal with the state. You have a chance, at least. You're eligible. But if you're a CDL holder, they're not going to give you that option. They're not going to let you go on probation or go on non-adjudication with a chance possibly of having it dismissed and off your record at the end of all that. Your options as a CDL holder, basically, if you get a DUI in Mississippi, are plead as charged and take the punishment, and that means you can probably avoid jail time. Well, I won't say probably. I mean, each case is different, but you know, you've got that chance to avoid jail time and pay the court cost and fines and go on probation and everything else, but you lose your license for 1 year. Okay, you lose your license for a year if you plead as a CDL holder to drunk driving. Your only other option is to go to trial. All right, so if you want any chance of keeping your license, keeping your job as a truck driver or a commercial driver, you got to go to trial, and that's where you need a good lawyer, and that's what I do. I defend people who have been accused of drunk driving, go to trial, get the officer in there, any other witnesses, see what happened, see what was the stop like, why were you stopped, what happened after the stop, did you do the balance tests, the field sobriety tests, how were those conducted, did you take a breath test or a blood test, did they have probable cause to do all that? Okay, we need to look into that. And it doesn't matter if you were driving your personal vehicle. What matters is the license, if you are a commercial driver's license holder. Because you don't drive your commercial vehicle 24 hours a day. You're in your own vehicle going home or wherever on your time off. But even if you're in your own vehicle, you've got that commercial license, and that's what counts, and that's what they're going to hold against you. So it starts with getting a good lawyer. Call me.